Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Dalia, and today we're back on my new winter TRASHCORE city island frostbite and doing another speed build. We got a lot of work to do. I'm super excited for this build. It's my brand new island that, if you guys saw my last couple of videos, I reset and started the new island. We did my entrance build in the last video. Here is what we built. We built my house, we built this little convenience store, and today we're going to be working on my plaza, at least part of the plaza. Basically, it's kind of like a transitional area in featuring my plaza. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you do, don't forget to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you would like to see more videos from me. And yeah, we got a lot of work to do. Unfortunately, as you guys can tell by the thumbnail, we had so much pathing to place down, so we don't have a lot of time to waste with this intro. So let's get started. So, like I said, it's mainly pathing. There's not a lot of terraforming for this build, thankfully. I haven't actually flattened my island yet, which, if you haven't seen my most recent community post, like on the community tab on my channel, I did ask you guys to leave me some questions for a Q&A video, because I'll be doing a Q&A video for, like the next video or so while I'm flattening. I thought we could just like, I don't know, I can just like speed through flattening my island while we do like a little chatty video, so feel free to ask me questions there. I'm also gonna leave a post on my Twitter too, probably asking for questions as well, but I've only done the community tab page one so far. So anyways, yeah. So I started placing the pathing down. We're just doing a continuation of the road that we did in the previous video. Let me know if you guys want a video explaining how to place this pathing down. A lot of people have used Colin Crossing's pathing in their own builds on YouTube, so I'm not sure if anyone is curious about how to place this down. I'm still learning. But I have used his pathing on previous islands, so I'm definitely getting a lot better than I used to be. But kinda my idea for this build, as I was placing the roads down, is that I knew I wanted there to be roads that kind of like looped around the plaza. My plaza is kind of further to the right side of my island, so I don't actually work on the right side of my plaza today. We're focusing mainly on the left side. But I did want there to be a road going towards the front of the plaza, and then, yeah, this honestly, I didn't know what I was going to build going into today's video. I really just pressed record and hope for the best.
Well, what are you waiting for?
I don't know, something amazing, I guess.
So a lot of this beginning is literally me just making pathing, because I figured if I just start placing pathing down, eventually the layout of the actual build will hopefully come together in my mind. Thankfully it did. But sometimes it's just, you know, it's a struggle sometimes coming up with build ideas, and I loved the first build I made on this island, so to me it was the idea of like struggling to top what I've already done, even though I've only done one build so far. But I think this was still a really good build. I knew I wanted there to be kind of like an incline beside the plaza if I wasn't gonna just have roads kind of looping around the end, like the entire building. But if you guys saw my last video, I did mention that I wanted to do like an incline featuring a house build. I was originally going to do kind of like a walk up, a step up type apartment style build for my own home, but it unfortunately just like didn't work out with like the layout that I had. So instead I do that with two of my villagers' homes for this build, and originally I was actually going to do like actual apartment buildings and not even include villagers' houses, but I've always wanted to have some villagers' homes like directly next to the plaza, and kind of just have it feel very residential with the plaza and like the homes just like directly beside it. So that's kind of the vibe that I was going for. And this is when I ultimately decided I was going to be doing the incline build, because I started to make this sideways road, and you'll notice that the sideways road portion, it doesn't have the white lines. I think I'm not going to be downloading that portion of the path just to save myself a couple of path spaces. I also like struggle to properly place the diagonal white lines on diagonal streets, so I felt like I would just save myself the headache and not do it. I'm not gonna have very big like diagonal roads on the island, probably only a couple spaces going left or right. So I figured not having the white lines is just like a nice way to save myself 4 tiles. So I'm almost finished placing the pathing down here. I'm just gonna go around and place kind of like the detailed paths. So I'm placing some like sideways road pathing, some sewers, and things like that. And if you're curious about any of the custom designs that I've placed, and that I've used so far on this island, I do have a completed list in my description. I will be continuing to add on to it as I continue to download more custom designs, because I don't have all my slots filled out yet. But I have all the ones that I've used so far linked down below if you are curious about any of them. If I happen to miss any of them, please let me know. I did go through and make sure that I included them all, but you know, sometimes you just like miss one or two. So I placed those fences in front of the plaza. I didn't want to completely block off the plaza with like too many items, but I think the fences are a great way to like add height around the plaza without having to include like trees or too many bigger items, because you can also see through the fences, which I really like. And then I went around and planted some trees. And here's a new path that I actually just downloaded, or not new path, but new design code. I downloaded a couple of these cardboard box designs that I'm gonna be using like throughout the island on the floor. I think it adds to the trash element. I'm really just trying to emphasize the TRASHCORE element through custom designs, kind of like sporadically laid out on the floor. Like you'll see me include like the newspaper design that I'm using on the floor as well, but I like the cardboard box design. One, because it actually matches the cardboard box design that we have in game, but also because it kind of looks like cardboard boxes that have been flattened and just left on the ground. But yeah, I'm just kind of like, really at this moment I hadn't fully decided what I was doing with the area, so I'm kind of just going around randomly and placing items down and just kind of getting the feel and the layout of how I wanted this area to look. Like as you can see, like my shops are like right here, so I was trying to decide if I wanted to build to the right of the plaza or if I was just going to be focusing on the left portion. But yeah, and then another thing I needed to focus on was really completing the street from my previous build, because I extended the road out further. So I'm kind of matching what I did in my previous video by building up the shops that I created and the fake buildings. A lot of this island is going to include tons of fake buildings created through the retro transportation stops and the storefronts. Especially in like this gray color for the retro transportation stops. It is not fun saying that word. I struggle. I have a lisp. It's a big thing. But like the gray color for the retro transportation stops and like the more like lighter brown color for the storefronts, I like how they complement one another, and I like how they look in contrast to the white of the snow. So that's pretty much what I'm using. And then for the fences, I'm mainly using like the darker silver and the like the rusted version. So I'm really just going around and just kind of adding items and really just filling in the space. What's really fun about TRASHCORE, as I'm starting to realize as I'm placing items down, and you will definitely see it like further on in the video, is that it's much like cottagecore or more natural builds, where because I'm meant to have the areas be very cluttered and full to look messy, I can kind of decorate in the same way, where like the item that I place doesn't necessarily have to make sense. Like when I did my last island before I reset, I was doing a city core tropical island, but it wasn't messy like this island is, so I did have to be a little more realistic with my placement of items. So that like kind of like hindered what I could decorate with. This one allows me a lot more freedom for the placement of items, so I'm actually really liking that part of TRASHCORE, and it's been a lot of fun to like experiment with like just random items, and also items I have never decorated with before too. So I'm finally on the decorating building portion of this video. I created this incline and this cliff to the left of the plaza, like I mentioned. I placed a bunch of simple panels along the front of the cliff, and those include the gray walls and the graffiti designs that I mentioned in my last video that I didn't get a chance to decorate with. But I'm actually having so much fun. I've always wanted to decorate with like graffiti on the walls, but I've never had a theme that required graffiti. So I'm really excited to like decorate with that, and I downloaded tons of really fun custom designs that have like graffiti on the walls, so it's gonna be a lot of fun to like experiment with the placement of those and everything. So I quickly went and grabbed Raymond's house. So I didn't really have any particular reason why I chose him. I don't have the DLC done yet, so I don't have the opportunity to customize the villagers' homes yet. I'm hoping by the next time I build, I will have the DLC finished. So Happy Home Paradise will be done and I can finally customize the villagers' homes. But I kind of just wanted to include villagers' houses that kind of fit like the darker theme. Raymond is most likely going to be a permanent villager on this island. I haven't decided yet, but I don't know, he fits the theme of like a city island, and I don't know, I just wanted to include him. And also his house kind of matches, like it's like the black and white just like went with the colorway, so at least it looks kind of like it fits into the theme a little bit. So I quickly moved and placed his house, and I'm placing this pathing down around the perimeter of his home. Now, one thing I did struggle a lot with is decorating the villagers' houses on this build, just because I'm not used to decorating villagers' homes in like a city kind of vibe, so you'll definitely see me struggle and like put items down and pick them back up again. But in front of this like little wall with graffiti, I just wanted to put like I don't know, like I put drink machines and lots of trash bags. You will see I use so many trash bags in this video. I love that the trash bags come in so many different colors, because it really allows you to like just play with like different colors. And yeah, I just wanted this area to kind of look like an area you'd walk through, kind of like a park area that has like drink machines and everything. I don't know. It's supposed to look very city-esque, which I think I accomplished.
She's got a point. She's an icon. She's a legend, and she is the moment.
And I don't continue the actual road in this build, but I kind of want to just come to kind of like place it all together and have it look somewhat complete. But I actually don't even know what I'm doing with the road after I finish this little incline, so stay tuned for that, I suppose. But then I just placed down a plastic bench. I extended the cliff one more just because I wanted one more tile to work with next to Raymond's house, and then I also wanted to be able to place a bench here. So that's what I'm doing there, and then really just throwing down items to make the area look very messy. A lot of trash elements like the decorative bottles, tangled cords, and then just like the scattered newspapers, and really just finishing up this space by making it look as like trashed and industrial and like lived in and messy as possible. Then I'm going to be moving on to the second villager's home that I'm creating, because like I said, I wanted to create like a walk-up with 2 inclines, and originally I was going to have them just like look like fake apartments using symbol panels, which I'm definitely going to be doing, but I think I'm going to do it as more of a perspective, like far away shot, so that I can make the windows for the area look a lot smaller. So we are going to be including another villager's home. I'm just finishing this little highway area. I wanted this basically just to look like a highway trash area where someone just like dropped tons of items without like any like particular reason, and then throwing a bunch of the cockroach items down. I think it's such a like a little touch, but it's so fun to throw these cockroaches down. So that's what I'm doing there. And then just to finish the road, because I hadn't decided what villager I wanted to move yet, I wanted to finish the road area before moving back over to the incline. So I'm throwing a bunch of the car items down, and like I mentioned in my last video, all the cars I'm going to be using for this island are going to be gray, black, and white, just because I want them to match the more like grayscale of the whole island. So here I am building up the cliff. Unfortunately, I do have to build the cliff off quite a bit in order to make the other house fit, and because I mentioned I haven't flattened yet, so I had to like push back the cliff that was originally on the island. So you'll see me like suddenly the cliff is going to be further back in a second. I didn't want to fully flatten because I want to do that flattening Q&A video, but I did need to make like a certain amount of space, so I did have to flatten it a little bit. Usually I do flatten my islands before I ever start a build, but I was so excited to start building this island that I just really haven't had an opportunity to flatten, because it can take a few hours to flatten your island like fully. So I haven't had the opportunity to do that yet. So quickly placed the incline. I wanted the inclines to line up with one another, and I needed to make sure I had enough space between the incline and Raymond's house in order to fit it. So I quickly just grabbed the incline. Please ignore the fact that my face is swollen. I did get stung by a wasp, but that is neither here nor there. And yeah, quickly placed my last plot down. I really should have just like placed a random villager's house down that I already had, but I put my last plot down, and I went and grabbed Apollo from a treasure island. I do have his amiibo card, so I really could have just invited him that way, but do we really have time to invite them 3 times? Like, no. And honestly, I wanted Apollo to be a villager on this island, like I mentioned in my villager hunt video, when we went hunting for a villager like 2 videos ago, because I think he fits like the city vibe, and I've never had him on an island before. So and also his house exterior fits the theme, so that's another huge reason I chose him. I was debating inviting like Marshall, who I also want to have on this island, but his house doesn't fit the theme, and I don't want to invite him until I have the opportunity to customize his home. So we went with Apollo, which I'm not mad about. I'm excited to have him on the island, and I can decide if I want to permanently keep him or not. So for Apollo's house, I did not know what I was going to build. For his like out exterior, I don't have a lot of like area for either of their homes, but I gave him like a little sitting area. I'm throwing tons of trash items in front of all my villagers' houses, which you'll notice, and that's intentional. I want even their houses to look very messy, but I gave them both like little sitting areas, and I'm trying to match their themes and their villager personalities a little bit with the placement of certain items. But really, I'm just throwing trash around, and it's really, like I said, it's really cluttered, which is like Something I really didn't get to do for my last city island, but realizing that the cluttered aspect works really well for TRASHCORE, it just makes sense. So I think for all my villagers' homes on this island, I'm going to give them very small areas around their home and then just fill it with as many items as I can that kind of fits the personality of the villager, more or less. And then, yeah, I'm placing a bunch of scattered papers down and giving them their own, like, lamps, because I need to make sure I include a lot of lighting elements on this island, because my island is most likely going to be set either in early morning or early night while it's snowing. So I need to make sure I include all of those light fixtures that I possibly can.
Okay, I've got it, all right?
And yeah, at this point we're basically done. Please ignore the unfinished parts of the cliffs. I didn't want to continue extending out the cliffs more than I needed to past just the villagers' houses, because I don't know what I'm doing yet for those areas. So last thing I'm doing is just finishing up the roads directly behind the buildings that I made in my first video, and just kind of making it so that they're filled in a way that, like, I don't know, makes them, like, you can't really see these areas, but I want you to be able to, like, as a perspective shot, like, if you turn your camera, you can kind of see. So I'm just throwing trash on the floor, to be honest. Like, that's mainly what I'm throwing down in most of these areas, which is perfect because it's so easy just to randomly throw items down. Throw a utility pole to give yourself some height, and yeah, that's essentially it. I'm going to quickly time travel to a later time of day and hopefully find some snow, which after like 4 days of traveling, I was able to find some snow at night. Like, this is the layout, this is the vibe for my dream address. Like, we love it. Sherb loves it too. So does Bertha. Okay, so without further ado, let's go check out the final build, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, that is everything for today's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed. Despite having no idea what I was going to be building today, I had so much fun creating this area. I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. If you guys enjoyed it as well, don't forget to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. I will be posting on my other island, if you didn't know I do have 2 islands, in my next video, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!